Hoje é o primeiro dia de fatores humanos e eu vou abordar ciúme.
Human factors. I'll talk about jealousy.
Que assola a humanidade.
Jealousy plagues mankind. It begins with couples, then it can go to friendships, and also all kinds of places.
Ou amigas e vai passando por tudo quanto é lugar, né? O ciúme é uma coisa que não é tão simples de se explicar.
Jealousy isn't so simple to explain.
O que eu penso sobre algumas reações humanas. O ciúme.
I'll start saying what I think about some human reactions. Some people say jealousy is a feeling attached to the care of others. It's connected to the relationship we have with a particular person.
Eu não vejo o ciúme como sentimento, eu vejo o ciúme como uma emoção.
I don't see jealousy as a feeling. It is an emotion. Feeling, for me, is another level of work from our psychic architecture. You can ask, Moises, what are you talking about? You can always send us your questions and comments. It'll be nice to continue talking and learn more. I learn more too. I see jealousy as an emotion, a reaction that doesn't make much sense. First, because the person feels threatened and this threat is related to a loss. Losses immediately imply that when you lose someone to another person, you're jealous. Sorry, a threat of loss, not a loss. This threat makes you jealous. Jealousy can reach unhealthy levels. It can be simple and quiet, more moderate, and there's the severe or very severe. It depends on the level the person feels the threat of loss.
Essa ameaça de perda, né? Ameaça de perda de, por exemplo, uma afetividade direcionada para alguém, né?
A threat of loss is, for example, an affection directed at someone or a lack of affection the other person gives us.
Bom, se a pessoa tem nível de dificuldade muito alto, ela é muito carente.
Well, if the person has a very high level of difficulty, they are very needy, and jealousy obviously goes to an unbearable level. The reaction of a jealous person could be common, like, look, I'm feeling jealous. It can be of a friend, boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, husband. It doesn't matter. I'm feeling jealous of you being next to that person or group of people, maybe even an activity. They're suffering, it's like you're missing something. If the person can express themselves well and the other has common sense to understand, jealousy can be solved. That really painful, huge jealousy can go to a level of physical aggression and bad words. There are people who even kill because of that. They don't allow the other to choose or do something.
Tome caminho ou faça alguma coisa, ou se sinta realmente traída devido ao grande nível de carência que a carência do meu ponto de vista.
They may feel really betrayed due to their high level of neediness. I'll talk more about this point of view. Neediness is strong in most people. Neediness is a kind of sick way of life. We need to have someone by our side. No one can live alone. That's what we learned. We learned that a man must have a companion, a woman too. This way, we make our path here on earth, grow and multiply, and all that stuff. The result is that when you connect with someone, that person becomes immobilized. A jealous person immobilizes the other, who has no rights to do anything. Because if you do something different, the person feels betrayed, and jealousy is born very fast, in a very high speed. That's why I say jealousy is an emotion. It's not a feeling. Feeling is something you constitute in the path of your life. An example of feeling is love. Feeling is a love relationship. No instant thing can be a feeling. Instant things are reactive, emotional. This is my point of view. Of course, you can question it. I'll talk to you to understand better. I don't want to be right about things I say. This situation of jealousy can become obsessive, especially if something happens in a person's life. A wife is with her husband and suddenly her friend looks at her husband. Then she feels there was an insinuation or something like that. If the husband looks at that woman or smiles at her, in the wife's mind, there's something going on. It may be nothing, but I'm not talking about what's happening outside, but inside the person, an emotional context that needs to be solved. These things can be discussed and solved. In that situation, something inside the person is already happening. Anything, any look, any word, any handshake, kiss on the cheek. It's a confirmation every day. Imagine if the person is in this situation and gets a call. I'm talking about a couple. I said her friend looked at her husband and she thought she was. Imagine if this friend calls her husband for a chat. The confusion is done. It becomes an obsessive thing, in a very high level of suffering. The person cannot sleep in peace anymore. Everything for them is war. I'm saying it, and I think we have to observe. Stop and think why you feel jealous. It's a reactive thing. If you don't have an emotional and mental maturity to deal with life, everything around you will be threat and suffering. We won't accept anything from anybody. Everything people bring to us will always be a threat. Even when people make a compliment or bring a gift, you feel it's always a suspicion. It's good to understand how it works to live happily. Jealousy leads us to an unhappy life, a life of suffering. If you cannot solve it within you, maybe it's better to have nobody, so you won't suffer in vain. We have to relate to people. We have to trust in people. You may say, but there are people we cannot trust. So, look for those people who have more common sense, who are more mature, and you think you can relate to and trust. Normally, we search for people like us. Maybe once or twice we make mistakes, but we have to understand the other has some similar or antagonistic things, okay? Things we'd like to do and we don't because of our internal limits, our rules, our fears. Then you create a nuclear conflict in your heart. I wouldn't even say heart, but an emotional region, in this lower part of our physical heart. Jealousy is not a good idea. I believe we have to learn about it not to suffer from things we create ourselves to the detriment of things we have seen. It's important to talk about it, to go out of the shell we create as a defense. Then you'll have a happier, more joyful life, also with more space. I consider this space very important. We will meet in the next. Let me just see here. Human factors. We'll talk about embarrassment, and I'll tell you a story about it. You can find the address of our website and our social networks in the description of this video. You are welcome to follow us, ask questions, or join our Facebook group, where you can interact with a wonderful group.
Espaço no Facebook que você pode participar com aquela turma maravilhosa que está lá. Tá certo? Então,
See you in the next Human Factors. I'll talk about embarrassment.
E dessa vez eu vou falar sobre constrangimento.
Would you like to participate in a work of energy giving from afar that is benefiting thousands of people? Click on the link below for more information.